so he's lost it. 166, 60 foot though, that's storm. I'm upset because I wasn't in the tower last time. Oh, nice. 167. Speed of 103. Sean's going to run a 10 for me and goes through with a 1094 at 131. Well, goes the long way round with a 135 60 foot. The 8th mile doing 117, and Danny Pike goes through with a 968 at 147. Foot, 129 in the 8th. Nathan Frick goes 860 at 163. Ahmed Jamshed goes through with a 1027. Foot for Scott, he's pounding on, but Jake flies by him 116 in the 8th. 1094 at 129 for Scott Lurie. That man is in the 10s. And a 978 at 148 for Jake Fitzpatrick. Who's going to get the number plate now? David Swift. David gets first. David gets second. He gets no first. 161, 117 for Craig. Craig goes through. 10.06 at 142. A massive PB for him. Lane. Whoa, 149.60 foot for a normally aspirated car. 108 of the 8th. Sean Wells goes through. 10.07 at 133. Down to 10. for the top end with a 1092 and 135. Goes 172 60 foot at the 8th mile, doing 103. And Shaw Proud traps through with a 1096 at 124. Straight at 161 60 foot. 8th mile doing 114, and Danny Pike goes through with a 9.86 at 143. Calvin Skerritt. Right, so Calvin doing 119 at the 8th and goes through the top end with a 10.06 at 147. For the 60 foot with a 168 at the 8th mile, doing 96 miles an hour. So this is just a checkout pass for Alan as he goes through in 11.14 at 100. In 118 at the 8th, and Chris Batchel goes through with a 1024 at 157. Wow, 167 60 foot, 97 at the 8th, a little bit slower there. But Paul Bargate goes through at 1176 at 120. Going left and right either way, doing a 185 60 foot, 103 at the 8th. Ryan gets there first, 11.01 at 129. Run of the day. A lot of power from the launch there, 138 60 foot, 130 at the 8th mile, and an 875 at 163. Storming. Done it again, 149 60 foot, 8 mile speed of 107, and Marjewell goes through. 1018 at 133. Martin fighting the car there. Still drives around the Honda Civic at the top end and goes 130 to a 1262 at 109. Last run was a 10.06. There's a 162 60 foot, 115 at the 8th, and this time goes through with a 1018 at 141. We see Scott Lowry back up his 10-second pass. Scott this time goes through with an 11.20. With the Honda Civic looking to beat a 9.9. 177 60 foot at the 8th mile, doing 115, and this run goes through with a 9.9 and 9.8 at 153. So 182 60 foot at the 8th mile, doing 104, and Grant Moore goes for the top end with the Corsa with a 1079 at 130. pressures a little bit now to get off the line, but 168.60 foot, the 8th mile doing 103, and Terry Newton goes through with a 1080 at 137. That's where his 60 foot should be, 169, 101 at the 8th. And he goes through with a 1092 at 129 miles an hour. Where he can end up. Well, I don't know what happened with the car there, but he got a 0.77 60 foot, so I would ignore that. I don't know if that time will be correct. Hold, Samir. Past 100 miles an hour, 99 miles an hour, it's going to be a low 11, 22 and 127. This is going to be a solo run for Ahmed. Well, that was a lazy looking 168.60 foot, but 113 at the 8th, and Ahmed goes through the top end with a big cloud. Go through with an 11.18 and 100. Wells with the all motor Honda Civic. In fact, all motor Scirocco as well. So we've got all motor 145.60 foot from Angel Wells. Come on, 107 at the 8th. This could be the one as he goes through the top end. Oh, 10.06 at 135. More aggressive in the 60 foot with a 168, 103 at the 8th, and Terry Newton goes through with a 1088 at 137. Around the BMW doing 104 and goes through the top end with a 1066 at 104. Decent 60 foot, 165, 8 mile speed of 117, and the car goes 145. Craig Evans out the hole a whole lot quicker, going 161.60 foot, 114 at the 8th, and Craig Evans goes through with a 1022, 140. Camera in, please. Personal best is a 965. 153.60 foot, going the long way round mid-track, but 116 at the 8th, and Dougie Gemmell goes through with a 9.95, 134, and a nice parachute pull at the top end of the track. Again, going the long way around. Doing 103 at the 8th and goes through the quarter with an 11.43, but Lee Connors flying, doing 116 at the 8th and goes through with a 10.12 at 140. There's a 168.60 foot at the 8th mile, doing 116 and 146. Conversions, looking for his first 9-second pass. 158.64, that's the best he's done all day. 116 at the 8th, and Craig Evans goes through with a 995 and 141. Another 9-second club member. Okay, so 151 60 foot, 107 at the 8th. The 8th mile, Armin is doing 115, and he goes through the top end with a 987 at 144, a new personal best for Big Man Ting Racing. Now again, it's got a 0.48 60 foot. Racing goes through with a 1091 this time at 130. Jack goes through with a 1329. Going the long way round though, doing 104 at the 8th. Terry Newson goes through with a 1086 at 137. 17 at 115. So 174 64 for Chris. Mustang's going to go through the finish line first and go through with a 1009. And Chris Roylance goes through at 11.55 at 120. Well, goes a long way around this time. 161, 60 foot, 121 at the 8th. Goes close to the centre line, goes through with a 994 at 135. And again, pulls the parachute at the top end. That's a nice straight launch for Martin Dainty this time. 184 60 foot, 103 at the 8th, and goes through the top end with a 1078 at 132. Right, so Ryan Brown does 179 60 foot. Nice and straight this time, doing 104 at the 8th. And Ryan Brown goes 1087 and 129, his first ever 10-second run. Zero 60 foot, 139 at the 8th, 769 at 171. That looks a clean run. And 60 foot goes to Scott with a 1.66. Still out ahead of him, doing 102 at the 8th. Go down into the 10s and goes 1081 at 131 miles an hour. It's got a 2.5 60 foot. Terry Newton's going the long way around and goes through with a 1080 at 134. Tow rack's still going. 1920 at 68 miles an hour. Nice little wheelie there. on the last run. 167.60 foot for Ahmed. 8th mile speed of 115, and he goes through the top end with a 997 154. Okay, so 155.60 foot to a 162, 107 to 160. Side by side all the way to the top. And it's a 10.22 to a 10 flat. Now goes 120 in the 60 foot. 138 of the 8th, and Gary Gooding goes through with a 791 at 171. That 175.60 foot. 8 mile speed, 88 miles an hour. And a 12.53 at 118. Leave a 60 foot to ride home about. Terry's going to get there first. Goes through with a 10.75. .60 at the 8th mile, doing 97. It's down again. It goes through 11.55 and 123. So 153.60 foot, 8th mile 106, and into the 10s, 10.22, 23 and 132. My eyes aren't working. That's a good 60 foot, 161. 8th mile 117, and Ahmed goes through with a 985 at 133 to a 10.06 at 133.